Anyhow, let's give everybody a couple of minutes. There's 6 out of 10 of you, yes. We'll wait a minute. Undoubtedly, if somebody comes over there, they'll hear us over here, or at least look for us. One glitch to these rooms. Miss Krogan couldn't get sound in 208 the other day on her tablet. I did. She had those guys going out and work with her sound yesterday. They took away my visual. So, no system ever worked perfect. But luckily, we have a few rooms we can switch to. I switched to 215 this morning. Miss Grogan's and her, Mr. Lily's and 207. I've got these 2 rooms here. Hopefully, one of them works every time. Not, I think it's a 310. It's a 310 upstairs. 311 and 12 of the old systems. At least there's 310, maybe a 309. I don't know what's there. Anyhow, cost accounting, folks. So far, so good. You haven't had a whole lot of new stuff because all of you had. Caitlin, you had manager on, didn't you? You had manager. Okay. All right. Today, I also told you all for tax class to meet in 208. It's not working anyway. So I got to make sure all of you can log on, be ready to do taxes on Wednesday. So we're going to go back up to 312 again today for taxes. Back to 312 for taxes. Caitlin, did you got in on yours yesterday, did you? It depends on the website. Lyco could not get in on his, or Matthew Hartley could not get in on theirs. So they're going to come by today at 12:30 also, I hope. Okay, now, what problems did we have new today? Kevin, do you have a list of those?
13, 15, 16, 20, 27, 26.
Those were for the days. Those were new, correct? All right. And this thing also has a little bit of problem on. I've got a problem. My screen is overtaking all my menus. Okay, these were chapter 2, weren't they, Kevin? Chapter 2? Chapter 3? Yeah, chapter 3, okay. These were not showing the way they should have, so they're still not coming up the way they should. My Surface Pro is not working smooth today either. I don't know what else can go wrong today. All right, I should have those in another place here. Let's see. See if I can find them on desktop. We've got PowerPoint calls and PowerPoint principles. I have no idea why I can't get those solutions to come up, so we're going to have to cover them without being able to review them. So what page do those start on? Nothing's going right today. These are all on my jump drive, won't come up. They're on my desktop, they won't come up.
88.
And this thing just eats. I had solutions to principles on there and it just ate them the other day. All of a sudden they were just gone. I didn't touch nothing. So we're going to go to, we're going to have a test real soon. I was looking at some things just to make you a test. Tuesday, I'll tell you what's going to be on that test because we're going to have it coming up real soon, next Thursday or the next Tuesday at the latest. Okay, 13. Say page 77.
488. 87.
87. Okay. All right. Hopefully, I've got one note that we can at least. This thing's not even bringing up my sidebar, and again, I've got Kenny up there. I've got a folder. Well, you can see what I see. Let me try the mouse and see if the mouse will work better than the pen. Hey, it did. So we'll try everything. This is chapter 3. Okay, number 13, chapter 3. Predetermined overhead rate for 13. Omaha Mechanics has a monthly overhead cost formula 42 plus 6 per direct labor hour. The firm's 13 expected annual capacity is 78,000 direct labor hours to be, of course, incurred evenly. All right, making 1 unit of the company's product required 1.5 direct labor hours. Determine the total overhead to be applied per unit of product in 2013. Okay, Caitlin, do you happen to have that one? How much? All right. Okay, quick as I find it, we'll look at it. And if I need to work it, I will. But now you got 982.8, right? I believe that you heard that figure. All right, so expected overhead, 42.9 times 12 months plus 6 times 78,000. All right, gives you 982.8. But the predetermined overhead rate is the 982.8 divided by 78 gives you 1260. Now they already said that the overhead per unit is going to be 1.5 times that. All right, so that's 1890. Did everybody get to 1890? The total overhead rate. You had to add, found the 1260, and it flatly tells you in the last sentence I read there, making 1 unit of the company's product requiring 1.5 direct labor hours. So we found this per direct labor hour. All right? That's what you're paying per direct labor hour. But this is what overhead is costing you per direct labor hour, 1.5 times. That makes sense? Okay, and then part B, prepare a journal entry to record the application of overhead to work in process and the incurrence of 128,550 of actual overhead when 63.9 direct labor hours were worked. Kevin, do you have that entry?
Manufacturing overhead, 128,550. Various accounts, 28,550.
All right, now how'd you get to 128,550, Kevin?
It was given.
Was it given? All right. And then we take the next entry for the hours they give times the 1260 that we have, and we debit work in process 80,540 in credit manufacturing overhead. Okay. I thought we'd have to use that. Why didn't we use that 18 something rate? Do I know why we didn't use the 18 something rate?
That was overhead per unit, and we're calculating the actual overhead.
The actual overhead, well, the actual overhead was, see, now this overhead per unit, okay. So I gotta sort this out. So they gave us that then, but that was the actual overhead. And let me finish reading that statement. Per journal entry, record the application of overhead to work in process, the incurrence of 128 actual overhead, no mistake there, when 63.9 of direct labor hours were worked. Now,
1260 is a predetermined overhead rate. No, it's a rate, overhead rate.
that's predetermined, was it? Okay. We didn't have to calculate overhead per unit. That's right. Okay, then C part, just look at it real quick. Given the actual direct labor hours in B, how many units would you have expected to be produced in January? Given the actual direct labor hours in B, how many units would you expect to produce? This is where that 1.5 comes in again. You divide by the 1.5 and you get 4260. Okay. Lorenzo, it wasn't anybody else over here, was it?
I was working.
Okay, let's make sure. This should be at 7 out of 10, probably not bad. All right, any question on that exercise? Let's move on and look at exercise 15 that was assigned. Plant-wide versus departmental overhead rates. This company has gathered the following info. All right, the company produces a wide variety of energy-saving products. Now here is the info. Budgeted total overhead is $600,000 in assembly and $199,000 whatever in finishing. Budgeted total direct labor hours is 10 and 40. Budgeted total machine hours is 76 and 4. Compute a plant-wide predetermined overhead rate first. How about that one, Robert? That'll be 15A, I guess. All right. Well, that's 14, that won't work. Okay, to calculate that plant-wide overhead rate, this is budget overhead for both departments, right? And this is what? Is that units per department?
These are hours.
Is that hours per department? All right. So the total predicted overhead divided by the predicted hours is $16 per direct labor hour. Is that what you said, Robert? 16? Okay. And then B part, compute a plant-wide predetermined overhead rate using machine hours. So we're just turning around and we're taking the same figures here of 800,000, but machine hours is 80. So if we use machine hours, your answer should be 10. Compute departmental predetermined overhead rates using machine hours for assembly and direct labor hours for finishing. Okay, Giorgio, what we got there that looks like it's actual.
Six hundred for 600,400 divided by 76,000. That's for assembly. And 199 divided by
40.
40. Yeah.
All right. So here is your overhead budgeted 600, and of course 199. But here we're going to use direct labor hours, no machine hours, 76, and here direct labor. I guess direct labor hours, that's 499. All right, so we can switch around. They're just showing you two. Now let me show you D part. And D part states, determine the amount of overhead that would be assigned to a product that requires 5 machine hours in assembly and 1 direct labor hour in finishing, using the answer developing A, B, C. All right, so let's look at this. Okay, overhead assigned using answers from A would be what, 1 times $16. Overhead assigned using answer from B would be 5 times $10. Overhead assigned using answer from C. All right, A, the answer was 16. B, the answer was 10. And C, the answer is 790 plus 499. All right. Now, the only question I have, and then of course, if we use all of these, where did the 3950 come from? They give you that? Where did 3950 come from?
No, you add up the 5 times 790.
Right. Okay. Well, yeah, I'll just work out the equation. 5 times 790 plus 499. 49. All right. Any questions? So you know you're going to have predetermined overhead rates on the test. Okay. Be careful when you read those. All right, and the next one will be number 16. Under applied, over applied. We're going to know what we do with it. At the end of 2013, we have work in process inventory 384, finished goods 96, cost of goods sold 720. Prepare the necessary journal entries to close the overhead accounts if the balance is considered immaterial. All right. The account showed a credit balance in manufacturing overhead. Now, a credit balance in manufacturing overhead, does that mean it's over applied or under applied? All right. Here would be your manufacturing overhead. And we have a credit balance of what?
66,000.
Now, it doesn't matter what those debits and credits are manufacturing. I'll just put MOH. Now, your actual overhead would have been over here. Let's say it was 100. So we'd had to have 166 over here. That's applied. So when it's a credit balance, it is over applied, right? We went over 66,000. Okay, so if it's immaterial, what is that journal entry, Tanda, for 16A? All right, now when we post that 66,000, you see we would be getting rid or giving a zero balance to manufacturing overhead. Okay, once you post, which we don't post too often. And we're not dealing with posting a whole lot. All right, so now this part is also easy. For part of the journal entry to close the overhead accounts if the balance is material. We got to add up 384 and 96 and 720. When you add those up, what do you get? 384, 96, 720. When you add, what do we get?
$1,200,000. 1,200,000.
All right, that will be your denominator. Now, if we pick one of these numbers for a numerator, we'll pick the first one, work in process, 384. Now change that in, divide and change that into a percent, please. How much?
32.
Did that come out even? We have to round off to 3 places. Okay, so 32%. So what is 32% of 66,000? Multiply 32% times 66,000.
21,120.
All right. Now we have looked what has happened now. Does anybody know? You all still have it back there. I don't know what I can do to wake it up here. I'm gonna cut them all off. Try them all back on. Right, you're all back there in the back, right? Now this one over here came on this time. That didn't come on before.
Maybe try to turn it off and turn it on again. So,
I just did that. I just did that. I'll do it manual and see. Hey. Temporary. That did work for a minute. Whoops. For electronics, this equipment is getting old. That might have worked in my other room and I tried each monitor, but some of them can't want it off of these things. But anyway, so when you change this to a percent and you multiply, work in process gets 21,120 of that. See, there's no rhyme or reason why that should be doing that.
it's back.
Huh?
It's going.
Huh. I don't know. It's sensitive, whatever it is. Okay, so the 2 ways to close out overhead, we didn't deal with that in managerial, but you will have it on test in Now, if you people up front, if it's bothering you, go to the back and look to your side. Okay? All right, we got to finish these. We got other things to do. Number 16. Which method do you believe is more appropriate for the company and why? What would you all guess?
Probably the second one, because cost of goods.
66,000, pretty material, isn't it? And why would you pick the second one?
But 66,000 decreases cost of goods sold, which will increase the gross profit.
Yeah, method A, you'd have a whole lot less gross profit. And the company, they have a whole lot less net income. So method B seems to me more fair.
No, it's the opposite. In method A, you would have more gross profit, decreased cost of goods sold.
Well, yeah, you'd have more gross profit here. Now, if you got cost of goods sold up 66, that's going to lower gross profit 66.
Yeah, but in method A, it decreased cost of goods sold.
Well, here we'd decrease cost of goods sold only by 39. Now, for B method, you'd pay more federal income tax because you have more net income. But the question is, which one's more fair? The method in B would be more appropriate because of the large amount. All right. Not worried about taxes. Now, if I wanted to save on taxes, I'd definitely use method A. All right, let's try to look at number 20. All right, predetermined overhead rate. This Albertson Electronics makes inexpensive GPS navigation and uses a normal cost system that applies overhead based on machine hours. All right, now we have variable factory overhead at 100,000 machine hours. They have 1,000,000 something. Variable factory overhead at 150,000 machine hours. Fixed factory overhead is at all levels between 10 and 130,000 machine hours. So if you drop below 10,000, evidently something happens to your fixed overhead. Some of you might can save. And if you go over 180,000 hours, your fixed overhead has to change. It must have to increase. So, but we're between 10 and 180 at both levels, 100 and 150. But now practical capacity is 180 machine hours. Expected capacity is 2/3 of practical capacity. What is 2/3 of 180? 2/3 of 180 is what? 120?
Yeah.
Okay, 2/3 of 180, 120. All you gotta do is divide 3 into 180, and that's 60 times 2. All right, and it takes you longer than that to turn on a calculator. Okay, what is Albertsons Electronics predetermined variable overhead rate? Now, we can use expected capacity or practical capacity, but that is another question. So does anybody have the answer for A part? Anybody? Caitlin, you have the answer to A part? Kevin, you got the answer? Anybody? Tanda? 20A?
1250.
All right, Tanda said 1250. Let's see why. They give you 1,250,000. I was hoping somebody would just look at that and work it in their head. And that's at 100,000. That is the variable portion. And that's 1250. Okay. All right, but if we went down and even looked at these next numbers, 1,875,000 divided by 150, you still get 1,250. So you couldn't miss it if you used either one of those levels. Okay. Now, everybody on the same page here. What is the predetermined overhead rate using practical capacity? How much did we say practical capacity was?
120.
All right, 2/3 of 180 is 120. So now, wait a minute. Practical and expected. Yeah, practical is 180. Expected is 120. Okay.
Yeah, practical is 100.
Practical, I got to turn around too. Practical is 180, expected 120. Okay, but now where's 1,414,000 come from?
That's a fixed.
Fixed factory overhead at all levels between 10 and 180 is 1,440,000. So that is $8 an hour. Now, for C part, all right, we're going to use that 120, and that's $12. Now, what has happened here? If you can produce 180,000 units, what is your fixed overhead?
8.
But if you only produce 120,000 units, what is your fixed overhead?
12.
And what if you only produced 50,000 units?
It'll be higher than 12.
All right, let's say 60,000 units. That would double 12 then, wouldn't it? $24. So that's why Ford made the assembly line. That's why we have the term economics of scale and economics. And that's why we should produce as much as possible. It lowers your fixed cost per unit. Okay. Now that can work. All right. If you tried to open up a new restaurant, all right. Now Lorenzo, do we have any real Italian food in this country?
I mean, New York.
New York?
Italy.
But the closest thing that we have around some of our little small cities in the area, Olive Garden. Is that anything near Italian?
Chain and almost fast food. It's everything but it's not fast food. It's not fast food. I mean, it's a chain, right?
It's a chain, yeah.
Yeah, it's a chain, but it's not fast food. Every restaurant is. It's not. Almost. Yeah. Here in the US.
Well, there's another one that's supposed to be Italian. It is fast food, real fast food. I forget what it's called.
Portabello.
What?
Portabello. Not fast food.
You say Portobello?
Yeah, Portabello. No, Portabello. It's right.
Okay, is that supposed to be Italian?
No. No. I do.
Yeah, probably not.
Okay.
That's like some of our Mexican restaurants. I'm wondering. Now, I ate at a Mexican restaurant in Cleveland, Tennessee, and now that was very, very different. It was very different food than when I get at a Mexican restaurant in these small towns. I mean, it's different. It was great too. My son, my grandson dates Hispanic. His girlfriend's Hispanic, and her dad and mom own 3 restaurants down there. So, and I think she's one of those doctor kids, my grandson's girlfriend. So, his dad's legal, and I think her dad's legal. And then I think her younger brother's sister was born in this country, so literally, she was born in Mexico, probably here when she was 1 year old, so she's a doctor kid. And she's never known any other country but this. I don't even know if she speaks Hispanic very good. She speaks English great, but she's a doctor kid. So, anyhow. But their Mexican restaurants probably are more authentic than some of the other Mexican restaurants. Okay, anyhow, any questions on 20C? All right, I'm just going to look at 20D with you for sake of time. During 13, the firm records 110 machine hours and 2,710,000 of overhead. How much variable overhead is applied? How much fixed overhead is applied? Using the rates found in B above, how much fixed overhead is applied using the rates found in C above? All right. Okay, let's look at D. 110,000 units times 1250 is 1,375,000. If we use practical capacity, it was $8. If we use expected capacity, it was $12. All right, but total overhead applied, practical, all right, practical capacity is 2,275,000. Actual overhead is 2,710,000. Your underapplied overhead is 455, but total over expected would be 2,695,000. Actual overhead 2,710,000. Underapplied overhead. So it depends on which method you're using here. If you want to go underapplied 455 or underapplied 15, this one looks more realistic, don't it? Using the applied overhead at 110 and using the expected capacity 1,320,000. So I would prefer this calculation. All right, on the expected. I'll eventually take a hammer and give it a gentle hit. Okay, we still got a couple of these to go, 22 and 26. Hopefully enough of these will get you okay, anybody got any trouble with the high-low method? Any trouble with the high-low method? All right, everybody get this answer when you calculate it. Y'all can't see it, so I have to move by. All right, now what I want you to do, everybody, right now is number 23. Some of you did practice the high-low method, some of you did not. So let's take a brand new problem. Do not bring up solutions on your laptop or cell phone and work out the high-low method for number 23. You at home? You other three should be doing this too. Practice as we speak. Do not look up a solution. I tested it at 2 different levels to see if that truly is your fixed cost.
But like, why the lowest amount of maintenance cost corresponds to the highest amount of machine hours?
The lowest amount what?
Like the lowest amount of maintenance cost, like corresponds to the highest amount of machine hours.
Yeah, and you get a negative number.
That's what I'm saying. Like, can it look, if you look at the numbers, like in the maintenance cost, like the 880 corresponds to the 9,000, which is the highest of the machine hours.
All right, we still have to take the lowest of, what, 3,500? And,
There's a $3,000,
well, you got a 3,000, yeah, 3,000 the lowest,
1960 cost.
It also happens to be the highest. Like,
the 9,000's, what, 9,000 the high?
yeah, 30,000 is the low.
All right, now we have to use those amounts, whereas in, we have to use those amounts no matter, if we can, I check it there and it should be in a different pattern, we still have to use the dollar amounts at those levels.
Okay, so we're gonna have to do like 880 minus
Yes,
minus 1960.
And we get a negative number, 0.18.
that would be, wouldn't it? Whew, okay. That should not be that way. All right. The answer on 22, real quickly, is I guess the variable cost is $2.40. And we should be able to apply that $42 at any level here and find out that the fixed cost is $58 maybe. But we're going to look at number 23. Lorenzo brought up a good point, and we got to see what is happening here. So, Lorenzo, let's look at it. All right. As I said, you got to take the high and the low, and the cost, the high and the low, and you got to take the difference. And yeah, that does, Giorgio, give you a negative 1,800. All right.
Yeah, but they still use it.
They are still using it as a negative. And here then, if you divide that negative by the 6, you get 18 cents, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now multiply 9,000 times 18 cents, you get 1620. If you subtract, you get fixed cost. And if you multiply it by this level, you get 540. And you strike, you get that cost. Now let's apply it at one more level. May not always work, but let's apply it at the 6,000 level. So multiply 6,000 times 18 cents. And what do you get?
1,080.
You get 1,080.
Yeah.
And what was the total cost at 6,000?
1,100.
It's not working there. Why? We need to get 2,500. Oh, wait a minute. What are we doing wrong? 1,100. That was 9,000 times 18 cents. Subtract from. There you added though, did you? Okay. Here you added. And here you had to add. That's the only difference. When you have a negative here, you have to add. So I guess Giorgio, you had 1,100 here, correct? And what is your cost at that level?
Cost is 1,100.
And we calculate, well, see, that's not gonna give us close even if we add. But it should give us 2,500. If it's a true high-low method, it should give you a true
No,
fixed cost.
This is how they got 2,500. They took 1960 and they subtracted 540 and they got 2,500.
No, they had to add those two. Giorgio,
Yeah, add those.
these two are added,
Okay, yeah.
and these two are added. All right. All right. I need to look into that, folks. See what makes that way. It should be consistent. That was not consistent. Well, let's go on and get our work done on number 26. Now, last semester in managerial, we did cover flexible budgets. And we looked at, planned versus actual. But this is a little bit different. We're still using absorption cost and maybe contribution margin. We'll see. Here, Tom's Shoe Repair provides a variety of shoe repair services. All right. Well, this is off the record though. Is there a shoe repair shop in Bluefield, Virginia, West Virginia? Is there a shoe repair place anywhere? Have you seen one or heard of one? I saw a shoe repair place somewhere last year, but I don't know what little town I saw it in, but it's a shoe shop. I guess go in and get your heels resoled, whatever, I don't know. They used to be real popular back when I was growing up. And believe it or not, I have it as an antique because I actually used it when I was a little boy. It was a home repair tool. You had this little high thing made out of metal, and you had these different size shoes made out of metal. And whichever one would fit your shoe, you put it on there. Then you put your shoe on. And so therefore you had hard steel inside your shoe. And you could put new tacks around the sole of your shoe. And it would bend them over real well inside so it wouldn't be cut into your foot. But I still have that as an antique. And I did use it as a little boy. That was a home repair tool. All right. Anyway, supplies, production supervising, advising, and direct labor. You had utilities, you have Y plus X, and you have rent Y plus X, and you have advertising Y plus X. Prepare a flexible budget at 200, 300, 550, 400. All right. I just want the 300. Now, this is easy to do. I'm going to show you the one level. All right. I want you to look at the 250 level. 250 times $4. 250 times $7. 250 times 540. Direct labor, did they give you that? It's the same, right? Utilities the same, rent the same, advertising the same. Total cost per unit. Now, why did cost per unit keep declining from 2190 to 1984? Why did cost per unit keep declining?
Or increased.
Same thing you answered before, Giorgio. Your fixed cost per unit goes down. Direct labor stayed the same. And that's less per unit. And all these other things, utilities, rent, advertising, stayed the same. Now, it's hard for me to believe that utilities could stay the same at different levels. Rent would, advertising would, direct labor would. You got this man on hand, and so on. But utilities in the winter, mine's definitely variable. I wish it were fixed. Okay, so B, your direct labor hours. What was the question for B on this one? Calculate a total cost for direct labor hour at each level. All right. We looked at that and we simply divide the total cost by the units. And C part, all right, Tom's employees usually work 350 direct labor hours per month. The average shoe repair is 1.25 hours of labor. Tom wants to earn a 40% margin on his cost. What should be the average charge per customer? All right, $20.33 times the 1.4 and the 28.46 times the 1.25. All right, $35.58. Okay, now here is your 40% profit margin. So it's costing how much? Well, it's not going to do anything magical this time. That definitely, whoops, it did. All right, we're going to practice a lot of these budgets Tuesday, and we're going to gear up for a test next Thursday.
I won't be here next Thursday. I have that meeting.
Can't be here, we'll work it out there. Okay, we'll see. We may put it off to the next Tuesday.
So the test is gonna be next Thursday.
Next Thursday, no later than the next Tuesday. But we got to work some more problems on this chapter. Now, we reviewed journal entries. You had to have a manager. We reviewed predetermined overhead rate. We reviewed high-low methods. And we turned in, found one little glitch there, difference. So let me give you the problems. I had those picked out here. You'll need to do number 28.
Chapter 3.
Yeah, we're still chapter 3. Number 30, chapter 3. Now this is absorption versus variable costing, just to review it, because it's in here. And we need to do 32. That got us down through what they call exercises, and problems pretty much are the same thing. And we're going to review overhead rates once again, and that's 38. No, I do 37 and 43. All right, there's 5 exercises and problems that would be due this coming Tuesday. We will review those.
But since again, it's gonna be 28.
Now, Tuesday, I'll pick one of these 5 problems as a bonus on the test. If you have these 5 problems, I'll pick one, you turn it in, that will be your bonus on your test, okay? Now, there are other problems in here under absorption and variable. If we don't have the test next Thursday, we'll continue looking at a few more problems in this chapter. Now, from chapter 3, the test will be only on 2 and 3. I believe we skipped a chapter on activity. we'll go straight to chapter 5 and 6 for your second test. I'll point those out to you later. Now that's job order and process, and chapter 7 is the old standard. So far, we covering the same thing we did in managerial. Okay, that's it for the day. You folks at home, write me a summary, send me a summary. If you were present this period, you would have texted me, and you still need to give me a summary, present at this time or not. So you are free to go. You tax students, we will meet up upstairs in that computer room. We're gonna make sure you can be able to log in next week without any glitches.
See, Texas.
Okay, Georgia.